You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We are here every single Friday to help you understand how to mastermind and grow your real estate business. And what we're talking about today is a topic that is essential to building your real estate business bigger, but it's also essential to breaking out of your current prison, for lack of a better term. We're going to be talking about how to really make some significant changes that could impact your future to the point where you're changing your trajectory of where you'll be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, completely. But time, as we speak, is running out. So make sure you don't waste your time. Make sure you are taking full advantage of it. So we've got a great show for you today. I'm really excited to share this with you. We've got a lot of really cool topics to touch on, and we're live. So if you're tuning in here over on Facebook, say hello, and where you're tuning in from. Same thing over on YouTube, or if you're watching at tampaschoolofrealestate.com, welcome, and thank you for tuning in. And any questions that you have, drop that in the chat. Any ideas? If you've got, I'm not the only one who knows something here. If you've got some tips or tricks that you use to make sure that you're not wasting your time, share those. So you waste your time, you will waste your mind. So we've got a great show for you today. Stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and what we're talking about today is not wasting your time. So look, there is infinite money in this world. Some people are kind of waking up to that fact that it's kind of causing some issues, that there's infinite money in the world. They could just print more of it and then there's more money. But you know what they can't print? They can't print time. Maybe there's some little things we could do to extend our time. We could keep ourselves physically healthy. We could, exercise, eat a good diet, stay hydrated, things like that we could do. Having a positive mindset, that's been shown to extend your lifespan. Little things like that you could do to get you a little bit more time, but nothing that's going to get you infinite time. There's infinite money out there. There's not infinite time. But the thing, we're all taught to worship the dollar. Like that the dollar is the end all be all of everything. And look, the dollar can drastically change your life one way or the other, whether having dollars or not having dollars. But the one thing the dollars cannot do is get you infinite time. Maybe you want a little bit more time, and that's what the dollars can do. You could actually buy back your time. So if you're in a situation now where you literally sell your time, and you're not happy with the price it is that you sell your time for because you feel like you're stuck in some loop, you're trapped, and you want to break free of that because you're sick of wasting your time. What is waste anyways? Let's look at this term here, waste. What does it mean to waste? You know, we might have like a waste basket where we throw things out. If we're talking about waste, that's usually stuff that's lost. You know, maybe you're a restaurant and a restaurant would have food waste. And waste is not good. But what does it mean to waste your time? You know, we don't always really know when we're wasting our time. We don't really always notice it because it could be easy to waste your time. Wasting your time actually happens naturally. So, again, what is waste? Waste essentially means to dispose of. So if you're wasting your time, you're disposing of your time. Now let me ask you this. Do you have your wallet on you? Do you have your purse with you? Reach in there. Hopefully you have some cash on you. If you've got some cash in there, pull that cash out and throw it in the garbage can. That's not as significant as when you waste your time. You put that dollar in the trash can. If you're following along, you're doing this at home, you're playing along at home, you're throwing your dollar in the trash can, you could reach back in there and get it out. You could get that dollar back. How do you get this back? How do you get back time? You can't. There's no taking back time. There is no taking back time. You could always get the money back. You can't get the time back. So this is the new currency. Because if you could become a master of this, if you could become a master of the clock, a master of time, money is irrelevant. Now, what do I mean when I say that the money is irrelevant? Well, what do you mean, John? I need money. I want money. Yes, of course. But if you don't have your time, that money's never going to come. Because you might be stuck in some fixed cycle where you wake up, you go to work. Come on, whiteboard, don't fail me now. We'll just scroll down here. So let's say you wake up. Then what? Probably eat. And then you probably work. And then what? You probably eat. And then what? You probably sleep. Wake up, eat, work, eat, sleep, repeat. That's the cycle. And every time you pass go, you get your paycheck. You get paid whatever that paycheck amount may be. And then you go home, you go to sleep, you wake up, you eat, you work, you eat again, and you go to sleep again. Now you might be saying, well, John, no, I'm off on the weekends. I've got Saturday and Sunday. Okay, great. So you've got 2 days that are free, but are they really? Are your Saturdays and Sundays really free? Is that when you're able to enjoy your life, or is that when you're trying to catch up on your household chores? Is that when you're doing the things that you put off during the week? And you know what? Maybe you are enjoying. Maybe you live for the weekend. There's a lot of people out there that live for the weekend. I mean, honestly, that's the only way to live in this type of cycle here, is living for the weekend. Living for the evenings, living for the weekend. When you've got your time, How sweet that is when you have your time to use of it as you choose. But if you want to stay in this cycle here, if you want to keep going around in this rat race, whatever it is you want to call it, staying in this hamster wheel, only because you get to pause on the weekends and do what it is that you want. Maybe you get some vacation time. Maybe you get some vacation days where you could have a little bit longer of a pause. But when we talk about significant changes, you know, you're not going to do anything if it's just for this. But what do you got to do to get that? You show up. You show up and you get that. You show up and you get some adjustment for inflation, maybe. You show up and maybe you get a little increase because of your performance. You show up and you do this or that and you get a little bit of a bump. But when you take off the blinders and you realize what this really is and what this really gets you, you probably don't want to be here. Because before I got into real estate, that's the path I was on. I went to school, got a good enough job. I was living for the weekend. I was waking up, eating, going to work, eating, going back to sleep. Squeezing in a little bit of fun here and there where I could on the weekends or you know, maybe I'd have some vacation days or whatever it is. But I was living for the time off. You want to know my favorite part about going to work at the job I did before real estate? You want to know my favorite thing to do? My favorite thing to do was to get together with my coworkers, my friends, the cool group, and figure out what we're going to do for lunch that day. Hey, what are we doing for lunch today? That was the highlight of my day in the job that I was working at. What are we doing for lunch today? Yeah, I'll go pick it up. I want to get out of the office. I want to get out. I'll go pick it up. Don't worry about it. I'll go get it for you guys. I'll pick it up. I loved going to pick up food. Why? Because it got me out. It got me a little bit of freedom, a little bit of dose of freedom. I was like, yes, don't have to be at work. I could go out and go pick up food because this is all I have to look forward to. Why? Well, because that's what you do. You wake up, you eat, you work, you eat, and you go to sleep. And look, we'll call it this, eat and drink. Because maybe that's where you have more fun. It's not necessarily the eating, maybe it's the drinking. Maybe that's where your fun, maybe that's where your enjoyment out of life comes, and the weekend comes, okay, let's grab a bottle and let's go forget about our week. That's not a way to live. It's a way to die. Because what you're doing here is this. You're wasting yourself away. Wasting yourself away on this hamster wheel. That look, you get to live. You get the luxury of being able to live and make a living. But is that what you want to do? Do you want to make a living or do you want to make a life? Are you on this planet to make a living and get by, or are you here to make a life, to build a life? Because that's what you've got to do if you want a life. You've got to build it. If you want to be able to buy back your time, you have to earn that, but you also have to put yourself in the right situation that allows you to do that. Like I said, I realized I was on this trajectory right here. I realized, here I am today, or 10 years ago, whenever this was, and I was looking at myself 10 years into the future, and I was saying, that's better than where I'm at now, kinda. But that's not where I'd expect my life to be 10 years in the future. And I was young at the time. Young enough to still be ambitious. Young enough to not have given up on my dreams. But also old enough to realize that what I've been sold almost my entire life as being, the ideal. The mark that you've made it. Oh, I went to school. I got a good job. I get benefits. I get this many days I'm allowed to not be in the office. Well, the other days, I got to be there. Otherwise, they're going to fire me and stop paying me, and it's going to go very badly if I do that. But as long as I show up there and I'm just using my allowed days off here, it's going to be great. And look, it does provide some security. And look, there are some companies that are rapidly expanding where maybe there's some opportunity for promotion. But who is the person that ultimately is going to be the biggest winner in the event that company succeeds? and it's the leader of the company. Whoever the leader of that company is who's usually going to get most of the credit. And they might try to pass some of that credit back to you. But do they pass all the money back with you too? Or are you part of a system? You know, maybe this is what you do there. Your wheel turns, so all the other wheels connected to you also turn. But something goes wrong, you break, what do? They replace you. Because in most jobs, the reality is you're replaceable. No matter how good you, and look, somebody might not be able to do it as good as you did, but maybe they don't need to do it as good as you did. Does anybody notice that? You go to like retailers, you go to different companies, different stores, and there's, I don't know, I feel like there's more mediocrity than there used to be. That mediocre is more accepted than it used to be. That's just lowering the bar for you, because if you want to stand out, well, everybody else, well, average is degrading. Well, average is wasting away into a lower and lower form of itself. It makes it easier and easier for you to be able to stand out. But if you've been caught up in the average thinking, if you've been caught up in the average life, if you've been caught up in some of these average habits that keep you on an average path, you've got to change. You have to change what's holding you in average. And you have to do things the average person wouldn't. You have to think in ways that the average person wouldn't. And one of the ways it is that you think the way an average person wouldn't is think about your time. Your time is more precious than your money. If you could wake up tomorrow and have $100 million, would you say yes? Probably. For most of you, I'm sure if you had the opportunity to get $100 million, who wouldn't say yes if somebody offered you $100 million? No strings attached. You mean I could just have, you're probably questioning why would you just give me $100 million? But if, let's say, like, hypothetically, you reach the end of some rainbow and there's a leprechaun there or whatever it is there to give you $1 million, no strings attached, would you take it? Why wouldn't you? But let's say there is a string attached to it. Let's say there is one small condition, just one, only one condition. Would you still take it, or do you want to know what the one condition is? And let's say that one condition of you getting this $100 million. Well, hey, you can have the $100 million, but there's one thing that comes attached to this. And that one thing is tomorrow will be your last day on earth. You can have this $100 million, but understand, if you take this $100 million, tomorrow will be your last day on earth. Now, would you take the $100 million? I don't know. I want to go to the live, because I want to see, would anybody say yes? Would anybody trade the rest of their life to get $100 million for one day? And every person I've ever asked this question to has always said, well, of course not. Not if I only get to live for one more day. The rest of my life isn't worth $100 million. Okay. Well, you woke up this morning and you just told me that you would give away $100 million to wake up tomorrow. So why don't you treat every single day like you've just been handed $100 million? Really more than that, because you wouldn't even give up the rest of your life for $100 million. Maybe you would. Maybe you're already at death's door and you're like, $100 million? Sure, I'm not even sure if I'll make it to tomorrow. And in that case, I could understand that. But if you've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you, who knows how many years we have ahead of us? But even if that's 5, do you want those next 5 years to be a prison? Or do you want those next 5 years to be you truly living your best life? But it's only going to happen if you're in control of your time. So how do you take control of your time? How do you become somebody who could go hop on a jet and go wherever it is they want, whenever it is that they want? Well, when we throw in the private jet aspect of that, money is going to be a big factor in that. Obviously. But what if I told you that's the same way you get back your time? I buy back my time every single day. I don't do I do go to the grocery store. I was actually just at the grocery store yesterday, but only because I wanted to grab something quick. And it was right next door. But I don't do grocery shopping anymore. I use Instacart. And it used to be weird that I would do that. I was one of the early adopters of using grocery delivery. But the reason I did that was to buy back my time, because I don't want to waste my time getting groceries. Because what is the cost of my time? Well, before there was something like Instacart, the cost of my time was my time. What I would have to put into it, there was no other way. I had to do that if I wanted to get groceries. But now, I just go in there, select the little things, buy it again, super quick, super easy. And then it maybe cost me like an extra $10 or $15 to have someone else spend 2 hours fighting around at the grocery store. I'm worth more than $7 an hour. Minimum wage is more than $7 an hour. Buy back your time when you can. Do you mow your own lawn? How much would it cost you to have somebody else do that? Is that what you do on Saturday or Sunday? Because if you could find a way, rather than you saving, if I bought my own groceries, let's say I wanted to save money. And this is what we all get programmed to do, and it's such BS. We're all programmed to save money because there's only so much money. No! You've been lied to. There's an infinite amount of money. No, it doesn't grow on trees. Most of the money isn't even printed. They cannot keep up with how much money there is. They cannot print enough money. There's not enough trees to print all the money, I'd imagine. That's why it's digital. So there's no shortage of money, but this thing right here, you're not getting any more of this. Maybe you could squeeze out a little bit more. Go do some yoga, exercise, eat healthy, whatever the secret formula is to living longer, but you can't live forever. Maybe the memory of you lives forever if you leave an impact on this world, but is your memory going to live on forever if you're just a small piece of a larger machine? Does anybody remember that one little gear that broke years ago? No. But do you remember that person that changed our lives? That's someone you remember. And that's the type of position you can put yourself in, and where your income 10 years from now, your life, where it is that you're positioned, you can make changes where 10 years from now, you're here instead of down here. And I'm a testament to that, because when I got started in real estate, I was choosing to shift the future of my life because I did not want this path. I thought I wanted that path. I gave it a little time. I tried it out, but it didn't move fast enough for me. Because if I wanted to come way up here, I'd have to live probably 1,000 lifetimes to be able to do what it is that I could do. But we don't have that luxury. Maybe we do reincarnate, but obviously we don't remember it. So who knows? Who knows what the secret of life is, what happens after death? But I could tell you what, while we're here, while we have the time on the clock, there's only so much we can do. And if you choose to waste that away, being a wheel in a machine, maybe you get some days off, some time off that you'd have to yourself. But if you want to be able to, again, change this trajectory, you have to be in a situation where you're earning more for your time. What can I do with that hour saved not having to do groceries, or maybe 2 hours, however it is? Whatever it costs me, $10, $15, $20 extra to have my groceries delivered to my door instead of fighting around at the grocery store, I can assure you I could go out there and get a lot more money than just $10 or $15. And you might be saying, well, no, I'm not allowed to get overtime at my job. You don't rely on your job for everything. One, and you're done. If you're relying on your job to be your end-all, be-all, because it's a great company and because blah, 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 blah. I was in there. I was bought into that. I was like, yeah, it's a great company. I love it. I get benefits. I get this. I get that. But these are all just additional little things to keep you in their system, because you know what? When they put in a new wheel, a new cog in the wheel, it's going to cost them money to train. It's going to cost them money to turn over a new employee. So they don't want you to leave. They don't. They would like you to stay with the company because it's less expensive typically than having to replace you. That being said, you still are replaceable. So if you go to them and say, I want to make this much money if I'm going to stay here, it's like, well, we thank you for your time with the company. Unfortunately, we can't do that. Have a nice life. Because you can't just go in there and demand everything because you're not in charge. You're not in control. Somebody else is. So if you want to be in charge, if you want to be in control, you have to find maybe a little side hustle to start out with. And look, there's all kinds of things you could do on the internet. I mean, maybe try out crypto, but honestly, the speculative type of stuff, even speculative real estate investing, I'm not here to try to tell you to get into flipping real estate or anything like that because that's dangerous. You're playing with fire. Look what just happened to people with crypto. And real estate doesn't move as fast as cryptos in the stock market, but you could very quickly lose everything. Whereas getting your real estate license, learning these skills, they could take away your money, but they can't take away what it is that you've done with your time. They can't take away how you've spent your time. And if you've chosen to, rather than wasting your time, invest in your time. Instead of wasting your time, investing your time. That's what I'm doing when I'm using Instacart. I'm investing my time. I'm investing in a service that allows me to use my time as I see fit. And honestly, I'm not always working when I use Instacart. Sometimes I just want to enjoy life. Sometimes I just don't want to go to the grocery store, so I'd rather have groceries delivered to me. And yes, it's worth the cost because you should be able to enjoy life. You should be able to enjoy the finer things in life. You should be able to enjoy your time. And I'm been able to put myself in a position where I can afford to buy back my time. And that's just one small example. There used to even be gas delivery here in Tampa. I don't know why they haven't brought it back when the gas is almost $5 a gallon, but I love the gas delivery. I didn't mind paying extra. I take like 36 gallons in my truck to fill it up, so that's a while. And it doesn't get the most fuel efficiency either, so I'm at the gas station fairly often. I wish I could get that gas delivered, because that allows me to buy back my time. Look at Amazon. Amazon allows you to buy back your time. Amazon is one way that people have gone to build better futures for themselves. You could be like a seller on Amazon and resell some stuff. But when you're but the question that you want to ask is what are you getting for your time? At work, there's probably some sort of hourly figure. If you're not directly paid hourly, you could break down how much you work into an hourly figure. And that's the same thing you do in real estate. You take how much money you made out of how much hours you worked and you break it down into an hourly figure. But because you're in control, because you can control the efficiency, because you are the one running this, because you don't have the expenses of running a large company, especially when you're starting out, almost all that money goes to you. Yes, you have a commission split with your broker, but that's in exchange for, that's like an investment that you don't even have to make up front, because the commission split, the way to justify that, especially as a new agent, is you should be getting value from your broker. Tools, technology, training, support, coaching maybe. It depends on what that brokerage is offering is, but things to save you time. If you've heard us talk about post-licensing courses previously, the post-licensing course will help you save time because you're going to learn things in a structured environment rather than having to learn them the hard way through trial and error. Trust me, I learned a lot of things in real estate through trial and error because I put off taking that post-licensing because I didn't want to do it. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I didn't want to do it. And so I chose to learn things the hard way. I didn't know I was choosing that at the time, but now in hindsight, I knew I was choosing to do things the hard way. And when you do things the hard way, it takes longer. You know, let's say you got to dig a hole. I don't know what for. Let's say you're some sort of construction worker and you got to dig a hole. Would you rather dig that hole with a shovel or would you rather dig that hole with a backhoe? Which one's going to save you time? Now you might be saying, John, I don't have a backhoe. All I've got is a shovel. Well, if all you've got to work with is a shovel, it's going to take you forever to dig that hole. But if you've got a backhoe, you can probably dig that hole in 5 minutes instead of 5 hours. It's going to cost money for that backhoe, but it's going to save you time. And now you could do more work. So how does that work with real estate? Well, in real estate, you're probably going to get paid significantly more on an hourly basis if you're actually working in real estate. On average, according to the National Association of Realtors, you probably have heard these statistics. It's about 8 hours to work with a seller and about 24 hours to work with a buyer of actual active working time to close the deal. And so if you've got like a let's say your take-home commission after expenses is $8,000. And a pretty average price home in like the $300,000 to $400,000 price point, even after a brokerage split, is probably going to put you at around this $8,000 price point. So I'm not just trying to like blow smoke with some unrealistic numbers. This is about an average price house with an average commission. Could it be more? Could it be less? Absolutely. Go watch some of our episodes on calculating commission if you're not sure about that yet. But let's say this is your take-home commission after your expenses, after your commission split, whatever it may be. If it only took you 8 hours to earn that $8,000, do the math. How much money are you making per hour? I don't know. I've browsed on Indeed before, and what's the other one? Monster, and LinkedIn does jobs and whatnot. I've never seen any jobs on there advertising $1,000 an hour. Now, that money isn't guaranteed, but that's why it's also so high. And maybe you take longer. Maybe it takes you 16 hours because you're no good at this. Let's say it takes you twice as long, 16 hours. Because you're new, you're just getting started, you're learning the ropes. You're still making $500 an hour. And you might be saying, well, I might not be qualified to earn that much money. You know what it takes to get qualified to earn that much money? A real estate license and activating with a broker. And what does it take to get a real estate license? Well, if you've already got a high school diploma or its equivalent, 7 days maybe to take the course. 8 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We've got several different formats, but it can be completed in as quickly as 7 days in an instructor-led format. Even faster with our on-demand instructor-led courses or our self-guided courses. So this isn't a significant, yes, you got to pass some exams. You got to pass your end of course exam and your state exam. But these are 100 question multiple choice exams. So you look, I went to school for like 5 years after high school. That wasn't necessary for me to earn this. It was the real estate class that put me at this table to where now I could play this game instead of playing the 10, 15, I want $15 minimum wage. Okay, well, how much is that $15 minimum wage now that inflation is starting to set in? Whereas here, you can now control, and remember, real estate hedges against inflation. So as real estate values go up, so do your commissions. So there's built-in raises whenever property values increase. Now, let's say you're doing this across 24 hours. So this is the National Association of Realtors average for a buyer. This over here is for a seller. This is for a buyer. So let's say it takes 24 hours to get this $8,000 with a buyer. And look, I always like to use a calculator. Not only because I'm not very good at math, but also because even when I try to do math, especially if I try to do it in my head, I probably make a mistake. I'm only human after all. So let's use a calculator, because you could use a calculator on your real estate exam, so why wouldn't we just use a calculator now? So $8,000 divided by 24, and yep, there we go, $333 per hour. Don't really see those job posts either offering $300 an hour in pay. And you're not going to find that money guaranteed in real estate. Really, as a real estate agent, there's nothing that's guaranteed. You don't sell anything, there's no money unless you're working at some sort of salaried position, which there are some salaried positions with home builders and property management companies and apartment leasing complexes and things like that, where they actually will hire licensed agents so they could pay them a salary plus bonuses if they actually lease or sell something, because you need a license in order to earn those bonuses that are based on transactions. But if they do have some sort of base pay, it's not this much money. The road to earn this much money is you've got to be willing to take the risk of earning nothing. And you might be saying, John, I can't quit my job and potentially earn nothing. Well, no, don't do that. That's not what I did. I didn't quit my job to start real estate. I quit my job to leave my job because I was already doing real estate, because I started in real estate part-time. And once I was able to kind of, and honestly, it was more of a leap of faith for me. It wasn't even that real estate was working out. It was people telling me, oh, well, you're not going to be successful unless you do this full time. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll quit my job. Let's cash out my 401k and let's hope this works. And really the missing piece of the puzzle for me was training, because I had no idea what I was doing. That was the thing that I know in hindsight that held me back when I got started. But had I known what I knew now, we've seen, I don't know how many agents come out of Tampa School of Real Estate, start this on a part-time basis, and some of them remain on a part-time basis where that's all they want to do because they like their day job. Maybe they're a teacher, maybe they're a first responder, whatever it is that you do that you don't want to quit your job, you don't have to. But on the weekends, maybe instead of doing those chores, how would you like to be in a position to have someone else do all those chores for you? For someone else to mow your lawn, to maintain your pool, to do your laundry, to make the beds, to vacuum, to mop, to do all this stuff. Look, there's services out there. There's house cleaners, there's pool cleaners, there's lawn services, there's grocery delivery. All the things you need done, you could pay to have those done so you could truly enjoy your time, whenever that may be. But let's say you're going to make that sacrifice now so that way you could dedicate time towards investing in something like this. Most people don't even know how much money you could really make in real estate. I mean, they know they get thousands of dollars in commissions, but do they realize how long it takes to make that much money? On average, these are statistics from the National Association of Realtors, so your results may vary, of course, but these are averages from the largest trade association in the world. So there's a lot of money on the table in real estate. And I mean, you talk about multi-million-dollar homes, this gets like 10 times as big. There's so much money that's out there. But if you don't have the license, you can't earn it. If you don't know how, you won't be able to. So you got to put yourself in the right environment, with the right information, with the right resources, with the right support system. Because if you do that, you could change the trajectory of your life. Instead of just the path of average, you could get yourself around other winners and find out what it is that they've done to succeed, what they've done to break free from this path, how they did it, so you could do exactly the same. So look, hopefully this helps, give you some more context into really how valuable time is. Let's go to the chat here. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Chris. How different is pre-licensing for salesperson versus broker pre-licensing? Yeah, honestly, it's a lot of the same. So anybody considering getting their broker license, if that's something you want to do, if you're already eligible, all you need is 2 years of experience within the last 5 years, and it could even be outside of Florida. And look, that was another thing. I'm a procrastinator by nature. I can't help it. I can help it. I try to actively help it every single day, but it just happens. So I've got to fight a constant uphill battle. But honestly, if I could do it, you can as well. And that was one of the things that I put off, is I put off getting my broker license because I didn't need to do it. But it's something that as soon as I did it, it's crazy just how all of a sudden opportunities started to present themselves more. That I didn't even realize how much it was that I was missing out until I opened my eyes to some new information. And there is some new information in your broker pre-licensing course that is going to be a little bit more advanced, I should say, than pre-licensing. So it's more like an advanced version. That's really kind of where those extra 10 hours are coming from more so, is being a more advanced, deeper dive into a lot of those topics that are already covered in pre-licensing. But overall, there is some significant similarities because it's really just like an expanded version of the sales associate pre-licensing. So anyone thinking about doing the broker licensing course, we've got live streams as well as classroom courses coming up. We've got self-guided course options for that. The self-guided you could start right away. So if you really want to take time out of the equation and start going down this path today, you can enroll in that self-guided option and start working towards that. But otherwise, try to carve yourself out some time because look, time is the thing. Once it goes into that garbage can, it's a black hole. It never comes back. A little thing I told you about earlier, throw $1 in the trash can, you go dig it out. You just go reach in, grab it. It's back. But you put your time in the garbage can, it's not coming back. It's gone forever. You could remember it, but you'll never have it again. So every moment, every second, every minute, make the most of it. Understand where it is that you really want to go and what changes you have to make today to move yourself in that direction. Because if you don't start making changes, it's never going to happen. You put it off to just something that you're going to do someday, another day, just not today, that someday almost never comes. Can't wait for the perfect opportunity to present itself. You have to make the perfect opportunity show itself. And until you start taking intentional actions, Those perfect opportunities for you are not going to show themselves. So look, if you have any questions about any of the courses that you need to get started, maybe for post-licensing, one of the topics we cover in there is time management, because that is very essential to understanding how to effectively run your business. If you waste your time, if you're running a business, if you're in a job right now, your employer doesn't want you wasting your time when you're on the clock. So that's the way it is. You want to run your business. When you're on the clock, you want to make sure that you're using your time as effectively as possible, so that way you can enjoy your time off the clock. If you've just, kind of been skating by at work because that's all you need to do, I understand how that could be draining. I understand how that could be defeating. I can understand how they can make you feel like you're wasting away. And honestly, you are, because I was there with you. Many years ago, I was sitting there wasting away, letting my life run me rather than me running my life. So if you want to make the same decision it is that I made, to take a chance on yourself, to make a little investment in yourself, to make an investment in information that people will never be able to take away from you no matter what happens in your life, I made that investment, and I would do it 1,000 times over, because where it's got me compared to where it was I was going, night and day difference. So look, that's about all the time we have for today. But again, if you have questions on any of this stuff, if you want to speak to one of our advisors, confidentially, of course, to find out any additional information, again, courses you may need, anything like that, call or text us 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. You can also visit us online at tsre.us. That's tsre.us. And if you put your email in on that website, we'll actually send you out notifications every time we go live, so that way you don't miss any of these episodes of State of Real Estate, of Ask the Instructor, or any of the information we have to help you grow and expand your real estate business. So I want to thank you for tuning in this week. Remember to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notifications, or again, better yet, put your email in at tsre.us, tampaschool.com. Head over there right now. You can see all of our course catalogs. Again, if you have questions, 813-333-2676. Have a fantastic weekend. Go make the best of your time this weekend, and I'll see you next week. Have you been wanting to get your real estate license but have been struggling to find an instructor-led course that fits your schedule? I'm proud to introduce to you our on-demand instructor-led pre-licensing course. Now you do not have to make a course schedule fit around your schedule to take an instructor-led course. This course is designed to be 100% video-based instruction. And this video-based instruction, even though this is pre-recorded video, still gives you the opportunity to engage and interact with the information to ensure your understanding of important key concepts so you're prepared for your end-of-course exam and state exam. My name is John Chrismo, and I'll be your instructor in this course. And I've been with the Tampa School of Real Estate for several years now and have helped personally thousands of people going through the licensing process. I'm excited to be your instructor throughout this course. Now, as you're going through the course, if you need help, we're just a click away. In the corner, you'll see a little yellow chat bubble where you can message our student support team, where you'll be able to get in touch with our team of licensed support professionals that have sales associate licenses, broker licenses, and instructor licenses as well. So you don't have just one instructor, you have a whole team of people from the Tampa School of Real Estate to help keep you on track, to help keep you in the important information, and to help keep you moving closer towards building your real estate career, getting it off the ground, and being able to go out there to join a broker, to activate your license, and start earning commissions. All of that is possible and so much more. But to get started, you need to enroll. So enroll today. Take advantage of the special offer we have on this on-demand pre-licensing course. You'll have instant access as soon as you enroll. You'll get an email with information to log into your course online, so you get logged in and start completing your course today. You don't have to wait until the class starts. The class is already there waiting for you. So take action today, and let's start building your real estate empire.